Good morning, travelers. This is Monday, which is very unusual for me to do a video on a Monday. And it's been almost a month since I put a video out. I've had some in the wings. They're lost in space at this point because I moved things around yesterday to make some more room on my camera for videos, so I'll have to go back and find where they are so I can put them out here. First off, to let you all know, you are watching Traveling with the Graham Cracker. I am the Graham Cracker, and this is a YouTube channel that was created for traveling in an RV, motorhome, van, whatever I choose to travel in. Currently, as most of you who have been watching and have subscribed, I am sitting. Therefore, I'm not moving, I'm not traveling. So, videos are a little off right now because I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing any projects either. If you've been watching my channel for the last few months this summer, I don't have a vehicle other than my motorhome to get in and out of my property. It is also the Arizona monsoon season, so you need a 4x4 to get in and out, and I don't have one of those. So I have not been able to do the projects that I really wanted to do this summer, but I am doing projects on my van. I'm remodeling my van to some extent. Nothing major. I'm not changing the floor plan out. I'm just upgrading materials. It's been about, 7-8 years that I've been in this van. And so I am upgrading some of the infrastructure in here. Like I told, I did a video earlier this season of rebuilding my composting toilet. I'm very happy with it. It looks nicer. It's a pretty cool design. And I am now in process of replacing my refrigerator, which I have a large refrigerator freezer in here, with a separate freezer and a separate smaller refrigerator that I will stack them, so there'll be a stackable unit instead of the big refrigerator in one area and the freezer in the other area, which is taking up too much space in my van. So I've done that. I have purchased some electrical appliances so that I use a whole lot less propane and a little more electricity, seeing as how I have more battery capacity, and I'm adding solar panels to the van. Right now I have a really big 250 watt solar panel on the ground, putting in loads of power during the day. So I will be transferring that to smaller panels, lighter panels on the van itself for an addition of 200 watts of power into my solar array. I have 400 on top of the roof, and I will be adding 200 to the van itself. I also am going to be building my pantry sometime after I get the fridge and freezer set in their new home. This is the fridge. This down here, which is really hard to see, is the freezer, and right now they're stacked, but they're stacked in between the driver's seat and passenger seat, and I've got to move them into their permanent home to give me more space. We're coming into the winter season, and I'm going to need to use a heater, and I chose to get a catalytic converted heater, which is very hard to tell that it's on, and they get very, very hot. So I want to put it in between the two seats and put a table over it so that I don't hit it and Quark can stay away from it too. So also I have included this little gizmo right here. Let me move my camera to show you. This little gizmo right here is a swamp cooler. This is an evaporated cooler which runs at about 54 watts of power. Yeah, less than 100 watt light bulb, and it totally cools down the rig. It runs with the water, so it cools and blows air through. it can run totally on batteries, no gasoline required. So if it's not too hot outside, and in the evenings, I can run this and just run it off the solar battery. I don't like using gasoline and generator power to run things if I don't have to, because gas prices and the availability of gas, in my opinion, is going to be a little more scarce. So I am trying to create alternative energy sources as I sit here and contemplate what's happening. Excuse me. As I contemplate what's happening around the world and things that are coming down the pike. Speaking of things coming down the pike, yesterday, or not yesterday, but Friday, I saw a couple of pamphlets that friends have been circulating on the internet, and I'm sure some of you have already seen some videos. I was going to have this up on Sunday, which would have been earlier than some of the ones that put their videos out. But the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management, based in the United States, Washington, D.C., and is operating land and managing lands, and has for years, manages a big, huge chunk of land in the southern part of Arizona/California. Part of that land is called the long-term visitors area, and a lot of it out there also are camping spots that are either free or you have to buy an annual pass to use them. Now, the annual pass is purchased in Yuma, Arizona, and it is purchased for 1 full calendar year, and it operates smaller camping areas and lakes such as Senator's Wash down in Yuma. It covers a couple of camping areas on the California side of the river, and that's the Colorado River, and a few other camping areas. And that pass has been $75 for a calendar year. You can use that pass to go in and out of those campgrounds, and there's a little more of those campgrounds on the list, for 14 days. Then you move for 14 days, 25 miles away, and then you can come back and go again. And you can do that for 1 full calendar year. But it's 14 days in, 14 days out, and 25 miles distance before you can come back in. Currently, I do not know how they are managing if you went 25 miles away or not. They are developing a system that will keep track of license plates and vehicle licensing, and they will be able to tell if you've been in the area for that amount of time. It's not completely done yet. The Forest Service has somewhat of a version of it, but I don't know where BLM is on it. But currently, you just have to leave the area for 14 days and come back 14 days later if you want to come back. So that is the Department of Interior, managed by the Bureau of Land Management, yearly pass. That yearly pass also affords you the opportunity to dump your tanks, if you have onboard tanks, get water, and use trash facilities in the long-term visitors areas that are in southern Arizona and southern California. And that can be used year-round. In the wintertime, in the summer, when it's 100+ degrees in southern Arizona and southern California, you can also use that pass to stay 14 days at the long-term visitors areas. Now, in 2026, that pass will increase to $200 a year, which is a huge increase for a pass that you can only use in one spot for 14 days and then you have to move. What's the point? You can go and camp on free ground for 14 days, then you have to move. You will have to find a way to dump your trash. You will have to pay to dump your wastewater and collect water, which a lot of people do that now. They go rent a camping spot for the night at an RV park, or they pay it straight up front at an RV park. Or if you're in Quartzsite, you can go to propane stations that'll sell water, dump your tank, and pick up propane right there, and it's not too expensive. It's a whole lot cheaper than paying the $200 a year for 14-day stay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, which is what most of the YouTubers are talking about, is the fee for the long-term visitors area. In Quartzsite, Arizona, there are 4 of them there. There's La Posa South, La Posa North, Tyson Wash, and La Posa West. Those are the long-term visitor areas just outside of Quartzsite. It's south of Quartzsite just a little bit. And they have been $180 to stay there for a 7-month period. And that starts in September 15th and goes all the way to April 15th. If you've ever been in the Arizona area, September, October, and the first week or 2 in November is still well over 100 degrees. I don't know about you, but I don't like camping in 100-degree weather in a van, a tent, an RV. So it's miserably hot, so very few people access the LTVA in September, October, and early November. Very few. The same thing happens again in the spring/summer. It starts to warm up in March. And then by April, it's miserable. It starts to warm up in late February. And by April, it's miserable. Nobody's there in April. Most everybody's gone by March 1st. They're just out of there. So you have 3 months in the fall and 2 months in the spring that you're not even there. So that's 5 months right there. So you're actually only in the long-term visitors area for, let's see, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, maybe 3-4 months in the year. And it's $180, which reasonable. I mean, you can go camp anywhere around there for free, like I said, for 14 days. Pack up and move to another spot, and then you have to deal with your water, trash, sewer, and propane on your own, which is fine. Sometimes it's cheaper. A lot of people get the pass because they have an RV and they can go in there and free dump and they'll camp wherever they want. They don't necessarily camp in there. However, I don't know who put the bug in the BLM's ears that land is worth so much that they just went up, and a lot of people are saying 400%. That's not true. It's about 250%. They went up in price $420. So the price now, coming up in 2026, that would be the 2025-2026 season, which starts in September, next September, a whole year from now. They are proposing, and I'm going to use that word proposing because they still have to have questions out to the public before they make their final decision. But this is the government, and you can guess their final decision is already made. They're only doing the comments because they legally have to. Will they change anything? I hope so. Do I believe they'll change anything? Absolutely not. I don't think so. But their new price, are you ready for this? Going from $180 to $600 for those months. $600. That's a huge jump. Now, if you're on Social Security Disability or Social Security SSI, it's going to take you, at $100 a month savings, 6 months to save up that money just to stay there for 4 months. That, to me, is absolutely ridiculous. Now, with the cost of housing, as y'all can be seeing how much rent has gone up, rent's insane. Buying a house is nearly impossible. Having your own place to stay is getting so bad for the American citizen, it's crazy. If you watched anything about New York and the overrun of New York by people that are non-citizens, and I'm being careful what I say here because I don't want the algorithms of YouTube to come and throw me out and call me hate speech, as they've done before. They are overrunning apartments. There are veterans laying on the streets. There's homeless all over the place. But if you are from another country and are not a legal citizen in this one, you will get free accommodations. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I don't know how long. But you get free accommodations. Not only that, you're getting a little card to go out and buy groceries. And yes, I've seen that before. I lived in Garden Grove, California years and years ago. And the Vietnamese people came in, and they were refugees. They were legal refugees, okay? They were given homes. They were given cars. They had vouchers for gasoline, cigarettes, alcohol, whatever they wanted to buy. It was a free-fall. It was not like the food stamp program where you're limited on what you can purchase, which I think is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But they got vouchers to buy whatever they wanted, and they were set up in businesses, and all that stuff coming to America. Where is America first? We are not first. We're not first in anything. And in this thing with the BLM, they're not putting America first. I have done more research, and I found out that on the Blythe side, California, they are building a huge solar, what do you call those? A big, huge solar park or whatever it is. Massive, to power these electrical vehicles and power more electrical use. Now, that Blythe is only just across the bridge. It's very close. It's only about a 20-minute drive. Now, where are all those workers going to stay? My opinion, probably the LTVA, because it's cheaper than a hotel. There's only one hotel in Quartzsite. I don't know if there is any in Blythe. So where are they going to stay while they're working on this solar system? Are they raising the price at the LTVA to push us out because they know doggone well it will? There won't be people camping there at $600 a year like there is now. It's going to dwindle the population big time. And guess where they're going to stay? They're going to go to the free areas in Quartzsite. They're going to camp there. Are they going to move every 14 days? I seriously doubt it. They don't do that now. They should. I don't stay any longer than 14 days in one particular spot. I follow the rules, and I do what I can, and I clean up my mess. I don't leave trash all over the place. But I am really going to see more people leaving garbage, more people leaving junk, and then what's going to take place? BLM will start shutting down free spots. This is a landslide waiting to happen, and I don't know what exactly will take place. I'm not happy with it. They're asking for comments. I will be leaving a comment. This video is my comment. It is a big comment that people that are on fixed incomes, people have been dehoused because of high rents, are put out of their jobs, which incidentally today I found out why a lot of people are being put out of their jobs. They're being laid off. Why? Because our United States government with the current administration is paying the large corporations, and this article named the corporations that are getting 8 point something, almost 9% incentive on every employee, non-American, that they hire. What does that mean, folks? That means that they are taking American jobs away. Americans are being laid off because they're getting better wages, so these non-Americans can come in there and they get a reduced wage, so wages will come down. So you think they're going to go up? No, they're going to come down, and Americans are going to be out of work because people that are non-Americans will be taking these jobs because companies are getting paid to put them in. Is that ridiculous? Is that a, what do you call that? I don't know, a kick in the foot? It's a kick in the foot for Americans. And nobody realizes this. I didn't realize this. I had no idea that our government was paying companies to bring in non-American workers and to lay off the American workers. If you just look at the unemployment rates and the layoff rates, it's ridiculous. We are being sold out by our country big time, left and right. Why is the BLM doing this? What's their point? Raise the rent. Yes, I agree with them raising the rent. You bet, because $180 for 7 months is dirt cheap. It's about $25 a month. So raise the rent to $300. I can handle that. That's not astronomically out there. But $600, that's astronomical. And they say that they're raising that so that they can build amenities. There's no amenities out there. There's water that's full of sulfur. It's horrible. You cannot drink it. It comes out of the tap hot. It tastes nasty. There are 2 current dump stations and a 30 to 40 minute line to use them. They smell awful all the time because they got broken pipes. The dumpsters at the first part of the season and the last part of the season, they only bring 1 out per LTVA space, so the trash fills up rapidly and overflowing onto the ground. It's a huge mess. The wind blows it everywhere. So then they'll put 2 dumpsters out for the rest of the season. Many times during that season, especially January, I see those dumpsters so overflowed they have to block them off and you can't use them. So you've paid for that. Now you can't use that service. So the amenities aren't there. The roads are terrible. The paved roads. Now, most of them are dirt, but the paved roads are terrible. I know they did this last year, put in new pavement in 2 of the LTVAs, and it's much nicer. They are building a 4-station dump site. That's not near enough. It should have been 6 or 8. They have put in new water pipes, but the problem is the water that they thought they had, they don't have, and there's nowhere that they're getting water. They're looking for it. That's not open. Not open. It's been built for, 2 seasons so far, 3 years, and it's not in operation yet. So amenities, there's no amenities. So anyway, if y'all been thinking about van life and where you want to go and you want to live in your vehicle and you want to live in your RV, rethink that for several reasons. One, it's not as free and cheap as you thought ever. It never has been, because you have to pay for your own water, your own propane. You have to pay for showers. Those now are $16 per shower, by the way. You have to pay for your laundry. You do that when you're in a house anyway. But all of the utilities you buy, and if you use a generator, your utilities are gasoline. Gasoline prices have gone up. You can use solar, and solar's fairly cheap and easy to install. But that doesn't mean that it works every day of the year. There's clouds that come down, and there's rainstorms, so that stops that. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I'm telling you to rethink it and do some more homework, because places where we have been allowed to park and camp have been destroyed by idiots that won't clean up and actually camp there when they're supposed to just be like an overnight stopover to go on to the next spot. They abuse it so bad that they're shutting them down. I went to Cracker Barrel the other night while I was in Flagstaff, because when I go to Flagstaff, it's an hour drive out there and an hour drive in on the highway, and it's an hour off highway to get to my place and an hour back out. So you're talking 2 hours to get to Flag and 2 hours back, and then you got to do all your shopping in that. Normally I stay in a couple places in town, but I thought I'll check Cracker Barrel this time, and usually I go in and have a dinner when I go to Cracker Barrel. Signs all over the place said it was illegal to overnight camp there by city ordinance. Now, I don't see a city ordinance yet, but who says one hasn't been passed? But there's signs all over Cracker Barrel. So if y'all are those that camp at Camp Cracker all summer, think again. There's signs there. Home Depot, there are signs there. No overnights. Walmart, no overnights. Where do you stay when you go into Flagstaff to do your shopping and spend all your money at their businesses? There is no place to stay. The RV parks are full, and there's 70 to plus a night to stay in the RV parks. You have to go camp in the forest and then drive in to Flagstaff to do your shopping. So things are getting tighter out here. They're getting tighter clear across the country of places where people can go and park overnight or camp at a reasonable rate. Now, I do not want to pay $70 a night for a piece of parking lot because I carry my bed with me. I don't have maid service. I take all my own amenities with me, and I'm spending as much or more as a motel. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Prices have just gotten out of control. So this video is not very upbeat and pleasant because it's not been upbeat and pleasant what's going on in our country. It's very, very important to look at all the facts, especially as November 5th is approaching. All the facts. Please don't vote for someone because of their looks, their gender, their nationality, and they're cute. Okay? Even if you don't like people that are going to be in office or running for office and you don't like their personality, look at their what they're planning to do, and will they do it? Will they do what they're planning to do? That's the question. What are they planning to do for America? What are they planning to do to put us first on the map and get our respect back? Okay? What are they planning to do? Look at that. If you're pleased with either side, pick where you're pleased. Nobody's telling you where and who. Just do your gosh darn homework and pick the candidate that fits your agenda the best. Okay? And what you would like to see the best. Pick that one. All right? Don't go on what people say. Go and do your own homework. Please do your own homework. There's a whole lot more out there than you're hearing or you're seeing. And be diverse about it. Look at both sides, would you? Look at both. There's bad on both. There's good on both. Just look at both. And hopefully we can get our government to be a little more forgiving and allow us citizens to be free again, because last I checked, this was the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm not so sure that that's true anymore. Okay? Sorry about this semi-quasi governmental video, but this is what's happening behind the scenes. This is what's happening under your nose. And I apologize if I ruffled any feathers, but you know what? This is my channel. If I've ruffled your feathers and you don't like my channel and you don't like what I stand for, then find another channel. I did have a comment that I've got to comment on. I haven't commented on your comments or answered them for about 3 weeks. I see them, I've read them, I'm contemplating how to answer them. I threw out a question if you guys were interested in me having biblical conversations and spiritual conversations in the vein of Christianity on this channel. And I have like a 50-50 response of people that yes, do it on this channel. No, don't do it on this channel. Make a new channel. If I make a new channel, I'm going to have to go to possibly Rumble, because what I would talk about is becoming more and more censored. Anything that has to do with Christianity is becoming way censored, and it's being regarded as hate speech on several of the social media outlets. I don't do Facebook anymore because that's so totally censored. It's crazy, and it's censored in all kinds of ways. You say the wrong thing about non-Americans, and wow, censored, hate speech, you name it. So you can only imagine what it would be like if you started talking about Christianity on one of these channels in one of these spaces. I'm looking into Rumble. It's possible I would do a channel there, or it's possible I just do this one until they shut me down. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but if we do go that way and I do start talking more and more about Christianity, if you guys are upset and want to go somewhere else, that's okay with me too. But I would really ask you, give us a shot. I'm not churchianity, and I have no business of being churchianity. I dislike it completely. And I'm not religious. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I have a relationship with God. I'm not religious. Absolutely not. And my views on Christianity are biblical views only. And so this particular comment, that lead up is to this particular comment. This particular comment was, before you listen to any kind of Bible study from me, go watch my earlier videos referring to that I was born a biological female and I look like this, okay? And on YouTube, you see a lot of people that are causing some major issues in this community. Because those of us that are true transgender individuals have gender dysphoria. It has nothing to do with sexual content. Nothing. But the people out there that are pushing their agenda, it's everything to do with sexual content, and it's killing us. So we're basically taking back the name calling transsexual. And I'm going to take that name on because that's what I am. I transsexed my body. And the reason is I was born with gender dysphoria. It's very similar. It's not the same thing as somebody being born with ADHD or autism or some other mental anomaly when they're born. They're born with this and they have to be diagnosed. I was diagnosed with gender dysphoria because my brain and my body were in massive conflict with each other my whole life. And I waited until I was an adult. I did not trans as a kid or a teenager. I went through female puberty. I also went through male puberty. But I went through female puberty the first time, and I thought maybe things would get better. I tried real hard to live as a female. I was in misery my entire life. And I didn't do this to make me happy. I did this to be me, be myself, be who I was created by God to be. And a lot of you disagree with that because God only made male and female. Yes, he did. He only made male and female. And guess what? In Genesis, male and female were one being. It was called Adam. And Jesus put Eve or Adam to sleep and did surgery, the first surgery on the human being to remove woman from the man, which created a two-part body, a male part and a female part. And then he told them to come back together and become one. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. The two shall become one. He made Eve as a helpmeet, not a helpmate, a helpmeet for Adam. It's a big different, a totally different thing. Quark is my helpmate. He helps me in lots of different things. A helpmeet is the other half of a whole. It makes a being a whole being. So that's a whole big study. But anyway, yes, God created that. Then there was a problem in that garden. A big problem. Adam and Eve did what God asked them not to do. And they created the first sin. They brought in death. That's why we all die, people. We die. So they brought in death into existence. It wasn't there before. There was no death. We were made as eternal beings. We were made both male and both female. We have male attributes and feminine attributes within our body, both of us, males and females. Some have more than others and some have less than others. Who knows why? We just do. So there's a lot of feminine guys out there and there's a lot of masculine women out there. And then there's those that are called intersex that they got both going on. And then there's those that are called gender dysphoria. And we have a total discongruence of our brain and our body. And we now have the medical technology to take the treatment for it so that we look like this, even though we're biologically female. Okay? I will never be a man. Never in my entire life will I ever be a man. But I live as one. I function as one. I think as one. My feet look like one. I mean, a lot of my body parts have changed and they look more masculine than they did before. So yes, is that a sin in God's eyes? No, it's not. It's a medical condition. And guess why that's a medical condition? Because since the fall of mankind, we have been digressing for over 6,000 years. So everybody that's born with one thing passes it on to the babies of the next generation. And it goes down and down and down. And I am a product of a fallen world. Okay, so I hope I answered that person's comment. And if I answered the comment on our comment section as well, and answered them directly. So that's just, I don't know, it's an explanation for all of this. I did a coming out video years ago. I'm not hiding anything. I'm much more content walking around looking like I do now and feeling like I do now. I'm more confident in myself. I'm not so much afraid of man anymore. There's a lot of things on the male side that don't make any sense, and there's a lot of things on the female side that don't make any sense. I've lived both. I've lived more time as a female and less time as a male, but I'm going to tell you, I'm content, okay? Just letting you know, I'm content. And hopefully I helped you out in understanding a few things today, because like I said, being someone with gender dysphoria is not an agenda. We're not trying to make you be this. Now, there are people out there that are. There are. They're in our schools. They don't need to be there. They're messing with kids. They don't need to do that. Yeah, there's a mess out there. I've been studying that too, and I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. But I understand where people are. They don't know, so they're fearful of what they don't know. I remember... this video is getting longer, so I'm going to have to cut it short here in a second. But I remember back when I was a teenager, people with Down syndrome, which my granddaughter had Down syndrome, were locked up in institutions, and they were called retarded and mongoloids, and they were treated like dirt. People with Down syndrome are very intelligent. They're just a little bit slower than most. They have a lot to offer on Earth. They love, almost all of them love unconditionally. And they are awesome little people. I say little because they're a little short. Most of them are pretty much under 5.5 feet. So they're pretty short. But they're funny. They're enjoyable. Sometimes they can be really nasty tempered. My granddaughter had a very weird sense of humor that was just killer. The other thing is that ADHD, when people were saying, oh, my kid has this thing and they require medicine, people were saying, oh, it's all in their head. Yeah, it's all in their head. They're born with it in their head. It's in their mind. It's in their mental situation. And yes, medication mitigates how they behave and how they act and how they can think. People with ADHD, their brains can't even function on one thing at one time. My grandson has ADHD, and the other one has autism. But my grandson, he has to think and bounce on 6 different things while focusing on one thing. Otherwise, he can't focus on the one thing that's necessary. It's crazy. It's crazy town. And people did not understand it, and they said, oh, medication, oh, they shouldn't be medicated. You're right, they shouldn't be. But we don't give them any grace to be themselves. They can be total idiots, and we don't understand it because they can't even understand it. So we give them medication to help them mitigate our society and what we need to do. Same with autism. We give them medication to manage their autism. But 10 years ago, none of that was a thing. 10 years ago, people with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's were extremely rare. Now they're all over the place, okay? So before you judge someone that has a mental disorder, or before you judge someone by what they look like, do some homework, please. Do some homework. Check it out. Find out the truth, the real truth. Don't listen to the TikTok and the purple-headed, pink-headed, frickin' look at the freaky people. Look at normal folks that we do believe there's a binary. There's a male and there's a female. But there's a lot of feminine males, like I said, and a lot of masculine females. So there still is a binary. There's a male and there's a female. There's no weird frog folks, okay? No frog folks here, at least as far as I know. I heard some aliens crash somewhere. Maybe there's frog folks now. Don't know. Anyway, thanks for coming along and hearing me rant. This thing is like 40 minutes long, and I'm terribly sorry. And I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to put it up as it is. And I just appreciate you all coming along. If you want to hear more about my talking about scriptural things, feel free here. Feel free here. And if people don't like that, Jesus said they're going to hate us because they hated him. And that's coming, people. That's coming quickly. They hated us because they hated him. We are going into Daniel's 70th week for those of you that read your word and know what that means. If you don't, ask me and I'll tell you. But Daniel's 70th week is the last 7 years of this planet's life as we know it now. It's going to change. It's not going to end. We're never going to end. We're eternal beings. Either we're eternal beings in God, Christ Jesus, or we're eternal beings outside of God, outside of Christ Jesus. And being outside of that is not a pretty thing. Sorry, but that's the consequences. I look at it like this. We're all in a lake. We're all drowning, almost like a toilet bowl. We're going down and we're being flushed. We were born into that because of what happened in the garden. But there's a rescuer that can rescue us and save us. All you got to do is ask, and you shall come out of that toilet bowl flush. That's it. That's my take. Anyway, 40 minutes. All right, we'll see you as soon as I can put up another video. I hope this one, you watched it all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Those of you that are on hiatus, come back. Come back, come back, come back. I'm not making any money off this channel. Absolutely not. So it's not about money. It's about, I like my subscribers, all of y'all. All of y'all. Whatever you believe in, I don't care. I like you. I like your comments. You've all been respectful. There's been a few that haven't been. But even the one that talked to me this morning or put that comment out there, that was not disrespectful at all. And I didn't answer them in a disrespectful manner. Hopefully. I did put one scripture in there that can be a little controversial. But anyway. Love you all very, very much. Thank you for being on my channel. Like I said, follow your heart, embrace your dreams, and cherish your life. Get out there and live while the living is still partially normal. It is definitely going to get way worse than it is now. It's not going to get better until Jesus comes. And he is coming. He is coming. And everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone will see him come. And everyone will bow their knee to him to claim that he is God. Everyone. Scripture says so, and I believe Scripture 100%. I don't want to be on the wrong side wondering if that's true or not. Do your homework. Do your research. Okay? Do your homework. Do your research. All right. Talk to you later. See you down the road a bit. And I am traveling this winter. I am getting off my property as quickly as I can. All right. Catch you later. Bye-bye.